Good evening, everybody. We're here with the City of Westminster Historic District Commission, and it is Wednesday, March 6th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in City Hall on Emerald Lane. And I'm going to call this Westminster District Commission meeting to order with our statement of authority. The Westminster Historic District Commission derives its authority from Chapter 164, Article 9A of the City Code, which is authorized by the Maryland Code Annotated Land Use Article Division 1, Single Jurisdiction Planning and Zoning, Title 8, Historic Preservation. The qualifications of the Westminster Historic District Commission are on file at the City Administration Building at 45 West Main Street. The file is open to the public. I'd like to do a quick roll call.
Chris Amadori,
Vice Chair.
Chair.
Vice. Kristen McMaster's Chair.
Kevin Wagman.
Mark Depot, the Director of Community Planning and Development.
Melissa Thorne, the Economic Development Coordinator and Main Street Manager for the city.
Thank you very much. So we're going to start with talking about the approval of our minutes. Have the commissioners had a chance to take a quick look at the January minutes?
Sure, I make a motion, we accept them as written.
I second the motion.
Second. Is there any discussion about the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
I,
Thank you. How about the February 7th meeting minutes? Have you had a chance to look those over?
somewhat, I wasn't present.
No, I make a motion that we accept it.
There's a second.
February 7th.
I guess second,
All right, good, because I don't know that I can second it, although I was there. So, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
By acclamation, then we are accepting of the minutes, and we thank city staff very much for all their work. All right, let's take a moment to talk about old business, Carroll County History Day recap. I was there, I got there a smidge late. Grace Kelly started us out. And Melissa and I set up on Friday the night before, and I have to thank the city. Those little Tree City mushroom things, they were gone before I got there at 10:15. Gone in a heartbeat. They were beloved. The next thing I need to report to staff is that those little computer connector cable things, those universal connectors, it was amazing how people didn't actually know what they were. But when I explained it to them, they grabbed them up and asked for an extra one for their friend or mother or whatever. So that went terrific. I will say, I think we saw more foot traffic this year than any other year. There was just for some reason a greater energy going on in the room. And I have to say, I started out my spiel when I was talking with young people, and I had Kathy Beatty, who we're hoping becomes a volunteer in this commission. She was sitting with me that day too. And I started out my spiel with asking young kids what kind of big party they would remember in 50 years. Because I told them I was around for the bicentennial and I wanted them to enjoy the 250th as much as I enjoyed the bicentennial. And what could we do that the younger kids would remember in 50 years? And they took a minute to think, and I was mostly dealing with 13-year-olds. That was like the median age. But then there were a lot of parents around hearing me ask this. And I would ask the older people, what were you doing for the bicentennial, if they were old enough to remember that? And they all sort of smiled, and they'd say something like, I was graduating for high school, and they would remember certain things. But I had them fill out a little index card. And I'm gonna type up what all those index card responses are. They were hilarious. Pizza party was a big one. They thought they'd remember a pizza party in 50 years.
Colonial pizza.
Another one was a dance party. They really wanted to party. And a couple of them, when they heard fireworks, said, yeah, fireworks, and they wrote it down too. But it wasn't the first on their list. A couple people said parade, they remembered a parade.
Oh.
So I thought that was fun. But it was really kind of invigorating to talk to those little kids and try and challenge them to thinking about what would you remember in 50 years, because you're gonna be here. Kathy and I are not. I didn't even do this. Kathy and I are not gonna be here in 50 years. You're gonna have to think about what's fun for the tricentennial. So it was really good for an extrovert like me. I got to talk with lots and lots of people, gave away lots and lots of walking guides. I don't know if you noticed how much stuff was gone when I returned it to you. Lots of walking guides went out the door, lots of pencils and pens, people got rid of almost all the pens. Even bumper stickers were kind of a hot item. So it was fun, it was really fun, I hope you all can join me next year. Alrighty, implementation plan, so let's talk a little bit about how we're doing with our inventory of improving our documentation for the city of Westminster. I think we pulled it off. We submitted our second grant for $20,000 to the Maryland Heritage Authority on Monday. And let's just step back. We did get $30,000 from the Maryland Historic Trust, and the city pledged to cover up to $50,000 because that's what we asked for, because we really believe that's what it's gonna take. And Maryland Historic Trust said, we'll give you 30, which is very unfortunate. So that's why we're going to the Maryland Heritage areas and asking for that last 20. We could ask for 50,000 more from the Maryland Heritage area, but then we need a $50,000 match, and we feel fairly assured that that $20,000 is still available to us from the city. So if we get the Maryland Heritage Area grant granted, we'll have a sum total of $100,000 to work with to redo the inventory for the city. And when I was talking with Melissa, I kind of thought of a way to phase part of it. You know, not only do we want all 1,400 of our structures reevaluated for whether they're still there, whether they're in good condition, and whether their outbuildings are still there. Photograph them all and digitize their historic information so that any citizen can walk up to any building and say, what happened here? I mean, right now that information is available online, but you have to be an expert to even find it. I want it to have every citizen be able to find out the history of their own property and not look at me mystified like they've never heard this before. When they are property, especially. But the next thing I would love to include as a priority, along with our existing historic district, is anything that's been state listed in the state historic listing and is within the city limit of Westminster. Off the top of my head, Roops Mill is one of them. Roops Mill has been listed on the state registry, but it's not within our district, but it still has real significant, important history that's worth the citizens knowing about. There may be other places outside of the city that were state listed and should be noted in our database. That's a little break point. Also, Melissa, you probably don't even know this, but I did find a list of some of the historic contractors that could do this kind of work. I sent it to you like 10 minutes
Oh, I
ago.
haven't seen that yet.
And it came actually from Kathy, so there's two lists of professionals that we can pick through. Folks who might be able to do this kind of work really well. Is there anything I've missed on our inventory saga? I think we're up to the minute on that.
I would like to mention, when we're able to open up the RFP, the request for proposals, after July of this year, that's our goal, we would entertain an option for the entire city, any buildings that are older than 1950 or so. We could go to 1970 or so, but to maybe limit the scope,
Yes.
have them be 70 years or older, and then just see what kind of pricing comes back.
Yes.
See if we couldn't include that in this inventory project.
Absolutely. yeah, we're trying to, we're a little afraid that we still may not have enough money, but we'll see what we get with competitive pricing out there. Start adding up the hours on 1,400 structures and it's a lot. Let's travel. So let's see how that goes. Yeah. All right. Did I hit A and B at the same time?
So item A is actually, you may notice a different structure on the agenda. We've listed discussing the implementation plan quite regularly for the last few months. And now it's sort of, really zooming in on the implementation plan, exactly how it was written. And the first one actually mentions the tax credit program.
Mm.
So so this item B really truly is the inventory, including the cultural landscape, which we've made a great headway on. And then item A is any of those sites that have been listed on the Westminster National Historic Register and the Maryland State Inventory, possibly a discussion on if they should be included in our local tax credit program.
Right, and I think maybe it bears repeating for us as a board that we have decided to expand what we consider eligible for the city tax credit. We've decided to expand the city tax credit to outbuildings. And also we've decided to expand the city tax credit availability to historic houses, whether they're in or out of the district, as long as they're historic, but you know, they have to establish that. Those are two expansions that we've made over the last year as a commission. That might be a surprise to our public. I wonder if that's not worth writing up. Maybe for the sewer and water bill. Okay. Great. Next is the nation's 250th. And although I've done a lot of talking, I haven't done a lot of work on that. Have you managed to meet with Melissa?
No, we haven't, I'm ready to meet.
Well, why don't you stay afterwards and we can talk about meeting about Belgrove Square? And I don't know, this has been a short month or something. Kevin, were you working on a task for the 250th?
No,
No. Melissa or Mark, do you have anything on the 250th to report?
I do. Do you have anything?
I have nothing, no.
Okay. A week ago, I was able to attend a meeting at the Historical Society.
Oh,
With-
that's right.
A few other partners in the county, so Commissioner Gordon with the Carroll County government, obviously, was there and as liaison, pulling in information on what the county is doing in preparation for the 250th. So he gave some updates. We had an employee with the Union Mills, Kyle, and you're so much better at names than I am. You could probably help me with the names. We had the library there, Jason Iliari,
Sorry,
Laura.
Jody Thompson from
the
the
library,
library, Ryan Malthorn from the school system.
as well as an archivist.
Yeah, Kyle, I forget his last name, with the Historical Society.
Two pals. So we had a meeting and I'll be attending to represent the city each month to be able to give them updates, the goal being to work together for the 250th. So some forward motion on that is the Historical Society has been chosen to host a landing page on their website for Carroll County's efforts on this. They also had some progress through the schools and they have a logo that's getting ready to be adopted for the county. And there was some discussion on possibly the city coming up with our own logo for the events that we do, and then partnering, with as we advertise for these events and having all the important logos, the national, the county, and the city, whatever we can pull together so that we're not duplicating things that shouldn't be duplicated. So I was able to give some updates on some of the ideas that have a little more traction, like working towards the district beautification. One of the projects I mentioned was purchasing flags, like something so simple as that, and that was kind of impressed them, which I thought was pretty hilarious, actually. Because they're like, well, this could be a great model if we could share what Westminster's doing, the ideas that they would talk to New Windsor and Union Bridge and Tawnytown and kind of coordinate efforts where we could. So I'm excited about that, and we're gonna be meeting at the Historical Society. So, I guess were you gonna discuss about the, possibly opening it up? Plans for the 250th?
Oh yeah, well, you have actually triggered a couple thoughts that I had.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did go to Celebrate America's last meeting. We did talk about the 250th as part of the Celebrating America's partnership with the county. And Michelle Johnson is the coordinator for the 250th, and she's with the state of Maryland. And she's got their commission, and she's reached out to me because she's heard about the good work here at Westminster. I think people are talking about us, maybe because we're talking, and other people are still sort of in the thinking phase. So I need to reach back to Michelle and chit chat with her. We did get ourselves a email, which we mentioned last month, and we're gonna write something up for the sewer and water bill to invite people to have their ideas of what we should be doing to celebrate. But I reported all this to Celebrate. And also about the sign at Belgrove Square, that we'll be hoping to work on that. And a plaque program. We'll love to see a plaque program that Grace has been working on. So, oh, that's good stuff. It's almost overwhelming. I did find an old proclamation from the city from 2011. And I've got that to Melissa to kind of get her thinking about coming up with a city proclamation, saying how exciting the city is about the 250.
What was the 2011 proclamation?
You know what, we used to do them regularly for May for historic preservation. Month.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of got out of the habit of proclamations, but they are kind of fun. I get to see the city council members, ask them if they have any ideas.
Or the sash.
I wish I had a sash because I would be wearing it, and a tiara if I had one. Go say hi to the council people. So we are working on, she's got some wording for that proclamation, so we're looking forward to that. Maybe, do you think we could get something for May?
I think it's possible. We're still in March.
Maybe we
So
can get
it's
something to
possible.
the council in May as, you know, our preservation month action is making a proclamation about the 250. I think that would be fun. I think
Really good idea.
the county is doing a what are they calling it?
Resolution.
A resolution. But I don't know the difference. I think maybe a resolution might be appointing that board. Yes,
So if you want to do it in May, we're skipping the second meeting, our second regular meeting is on the day of Memorial Day.
oh,
So we'll only be meeting in a regular session. We may have a special meeting, but on the 13th, Monday the 13th. So you want to have it done for that.
let's make that a goal.
It's a good note.
And you would all be welcome. We love to have everybody. We'll do a picture. We always do pictures.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. Were you around way back then for the last proclamation we did?
What year was it?
2011, I think.
Well, I was on the council, but
You were on the council? It was, you know, it was just a proclamation.
we do lots of them. I don't remember.
I know, I was gonna say, clearly this board doesn't do quite enough of them, but you know, they are kind of fun. They are kind of exciting. All right, so that's what we have for the 250th. The last thing is, I think we were in somewhat agreement with the city staff, and we should talk about it here, about getting a subcommittee going on this that meets every month before this meeting. Because I think we just need a broader reach of people who are gonna be helpful and some goals. We need to look for some community members who might wanna get working on this, because it's just more than I think any of us can really handle. But as you develop your plans with Melissa to get the Main Street on board, as I kind of develop plans for future planning, and as our board members can do and are interested, they are gonna need some help. I mean, none of us can do this alone. So how does the commission feel about coming up with a, sort of the friends of the 250 that will help us out?
Yeah, maybe there is something, maybe there's something we can model it after that's already been invented, you know, don't have to reinvent the wheel, maybe some other.
It would be ad hoc, it would be just for 2 years.
Right,
But short terms.
the structure and what, who's does what, and
I'm sure city staff can give us some recommendations on how the structure ought to be with that. And what we need to do to make it sort of semi-official.
Yes,
We'll think about that for next month. So do you think that's a good idea, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll piggyback on two things you said. To me, if we do a flag and we have a city emblem or something, a logo we come up with, maybe we could involve the county school system to create a project that kids could submit their suggestions for logo, and that could be on the different flags in town. And that way we are getting young people involved.
That's such a good idea. The Historical Society's already done that. That's how they're coming up with their county logos. They went to the school system. So they've already done that.
Their logo, our logo could be different.
Could definitely be different. Also, Kathy Beatty sent me a bunch of logos. I'm not sure if we sent them through the commission or not, Melissa.
I don't think that I did send them out. I did take a look at them and there was a wide variety.
Huge amount, just
Yes,
to get our thoughts going.
so I'm happy to send that out in an email to everybody.
But you're right, our logo and their logo does not have to be at all the same.
And for me says we want young people input. There's no more involvement than getting them to come up with a logo. We are very fortunate. Every school, high school, has a very good art program. We have a VOTEC that concentrates on computers and graphics. That could be endless possibilities. And we had to really have a serious prize. I mean, not like $25, 500, 750, 1,000. And you then get some serious people involved. And let's say young people are looking for building a resume for college. Nothing wrong with first, second, or third place, and have big awards money for them. That could be a proud moment for them. But as you know, I think we really need to put money for programming and not always talk about it.
I think it's a good idea to try to involve like the youth in different grades, but maybe what we could do is with the ad hoc committee, like assign people like, you know, what, you can't do everything, so maybe like what we could focus or identify different age groups and different kind of activities and do that way everybody could be included, but you know, figure out what would be the best way to include them. So I think it's gonna be to discuss.
I have to say, at History Day, there was really a new electric feeling from the kids. They weren't there because someone dragged them there. Those kids were really interested in history. I was really very, very surprised. So, this might be the time to catch the wave. You know, there might be just a group of kids coming through that are more tuned into history than maybe the last decade or so. Okay. All right, great. So, we ready to move down to Historic District Commission and public comments? Do you have anything for us? I think I reported on just about everything that I've got going this month. I did have one public visit. I did go out and look at a property. And have been back and forth with Melissa on other HDC materials, but they're kind of still in the background. Kevin, do you have anything specific?
No, but thank you.
Mr. Deepa?
Nothing,
Specific to us?
no,
Ms. Thorne? Just want to mention, May 11th is the Flower and Jazz
Oh, yes.
Festival. So typically host a table, let me know if you're still interested in that. I did hear from Grace that she's unable to attend on that date. She'll be out of the country.
Definitely interested.
Okay,
Yeah, I
But
can do a shift.
So at least we've got it covered with the three of us.
wonderful.
I'm sure Kathy will come, whether she's on the board or not. I think she'll come and help us out for sure. Kind of thing she likes doing.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'll
And
actually.
where would a booth be at? Usually we are in the entrance of the alley next door to the library because the city can park their truck with flowers there. I didn't know, lately, I feel there's a push to go more to the new administration building. So, if so, I like our old, or what I call the old spot.
Mhm.
I have to say, I really enjoy being with the city. Partly because it's fun to see city workers that I don't get to see very
Sure,
often.
the Recreation and Parks crew.
Those, well, and the Department of Public Works guys are often
Good,
there.
yes.
And
yes.
it's fun to see other city folks.
Yeah.
And if there was the tree commission or another commission that wanted to set up a booth, I would love to be kind of in that city block, you know, just to esprit de corps kind of thing. I really enjoy that. Plus, I'm just lazy enough to love having chairs and tables set up already. It's very nice.
I'll reach out to our director of parks to let her know that you're in again this year. And I don't foresee the location changing. I think we can, but I'll let you know if it does. If for some reason the city booth or if the flowers are gonna be in a different location. I'll let you know.
Yeah, every year we were told that, you know, things change. So never really to be 100% certain because they have, that's a big deal to kind of figure out where everybody's gonna be, where the music's gonna be, the food's gonna be, because we're flexible, you know. We don't have any electrical requirements or anything.
Speak to yourself, I'm not flexible. I've been told many times that. I'm kidding.
Of course.
But I like your comment. If we are with other city commissions, that is a way to showing to the public what really is happening. Not everybody is in tune to all the different, like, I'm making this up. Maybe people watching, we don't even know there is a tree commission, but it's been around 50 years.
Yeah, we used to share a table with them when when Steve Alger was there. He would come and, you know, sort of share a table. Now, they didn't have exhibits and stuff like we do, you know, and paperwork, they just had one little piece of paper. But it was always just fun to rub elbows with another commission. And I don't even know how many commissions the city has. It would be fun if they were activated to come and join us, you know?
Planning Board of Zoning Appeals.
Yeah, get those guys
Recreation
out.
Parks, is that a commission? The tree commission actually meets in a week or so.
They abolished the Parks and Rec Commission, only know that because I was on it and I didn't know they did it.
We
But they-
abolished it.
Abolished it.
So that they won't be joining you.
Only in spirit.
Okay,
All right, so maybe I should move on to public comments. Do we have any comments from the public? Before I step my foot in it. Hearing no public comments, then I will ask if everybody's ready to adjourn.
Yes.
All in favor?